They say that your 20s are some of the most transformative years in your life. The period in your life where you self-actualize and figure out who you truly are as a person. But your 20s are a lot more than that. Your 20s are going to serve as the building block, the foundation for the entire rest of your adult life. So the habits and the strategies that you develop in your 20s are going to serve you well into your 30s, 40s, and 50s. So today we're going to be talking about the 5 millionaire habits to learn in your 20s. Now, unfortunately, I didn't actually learn a lot of these habits while I was in my 20s. I ended up picking most of these up in my 30s. But had I learned these back when I was only 20, I would be significantly further along in my life, goals, and financial aspirations. Now, maybe you're no longer in your 20s, maybe you're like myself in your 30s, or even 40s or 50s. If you haven't already picked up these tips and strategies along the way, that's okay. It's never too late to learn and actualize these 5 millionaire habits. Right now, you are the youngest that you will ever be, which means that right now is the best time to learn and take advantage of these 5 millionaire habits. Now, some of these 5 millionaire habits may seem rather simple, they might seem like common sense, and my rebuttal to that would be, yes, they are rather simple and they should be common sense. But as we all know, the famous saying, common sense is not that common. In addition, it's one thing to know these 5 guiding principles, and it's something completely different to internalize and actualize these 5 principles and take meaningful action in your life based on these guidelines. So without further ado, the first guiding principle is to live within your means. And this seems like a no-brainer. It's been talked about to death, and yet it's so important that I feel like I need to mention it yet again. When you're in your 20s, this is the first time that you've maybe lived on your own. It's the first time you've had a job and income and money of your own to be able to spend. And so, since you're working very hard, it's very easy to feel entitled and feel like you deserve to have nice things because you're working so hard for your money. And there's nothing wrong with treating yourself or having nice things necessarily, but we do need to be careful and quantify what we mean by nice things. It's one thing to treat ourselves to a $2 ice cream cone, but it's something entirely different to go out and treat ourselves to a fancy steak dinner at a restaurant where it's $40 or $50 per plate. So by all means, treat yourself. Live a good life. Because it's true, we only live once, so you may as well enjoy it. But at the same time, when you're in your 20s, you typically lack the life experience to fully understand the extreme power that comes from delayed gratification. It's truly amazing what happens to our financial situation when we are able to delay our gratifications, not spend that money today and rather invest it into our future. A little bit of saving today goes a long, long way when you hit your 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. I mean, when we think about the stereotypical 20-year-old, we tend to think of the broke college student. That's the stereotype, so embrace it. When you're in your 20s, there's nothing wrong with having roommates and eating ramen noodles every night. It's okay to be broke in your 20s. So take advantage of that stereotype, lean into it, and be super frugal while you're in your 20s. Save that money. Because eventually when you get married and you've got kids and now you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, it's not nearly as cool to still be eating ramen noodles when you're 50 like it was back when you were 20. And while it's okay to treat yourself, do you really need a $5 cup of Starbucks coffee? Why not just get a Keurig and make your coffee at home where K-cups are, 30, 40, 50 cents a piece, and then invest that $4.50 difference. And I know some of you people out there are saying, here we go again, another financial YouTuber who's laughing at $5 cups of Starbucks coffee. But if it was only a $5 cup of coffee, that would be one thing. But if I've learned one thing in my 30 plus years of living on earth, is it never stops with that one cup of coffee. It's always significantly more than just coffee. If you're splurging and treating yourself excessively in one area of your life, then chances are high that you're probably doing it in all aspects of your life. So maybe you feel like you need to go out and get a nicer, bigger apartment for you to live in. But with that nice, new, big apartment means that you probably are going to want to get new furnishings because you're soon going to realize that this busted up couch that you were given or bought at a garage sale just doesn't fit with the new vibe that you're trying to throw off in your new fancy apartment. So now you're going out and buying a whole new set of furniture. But with that new apartment, now you got to upgrade your wheels and get a newer car because your 15-year-old Honda just isn't good enough anymore. You go out and you buy a new shirt, and no shirt is complete, of course, without the matching pants and jewelry and accessories that go along with it. It's very easy to snowball out of control with this lifestyle creep, where treating yourself really becomes more of splurging and lavish spending. Millionaire habit number 2, start working on your credit score as early as possible. Think of your credit score almost like your GPA throughout high school. When you get to college, these colleges and universities are going to be looking at your past grades and your GPA, and they're going to be determining whether or not they want to accept you into their university. Well, that's sort of the same thing with a credit card and your credit score. Financial institutions, banks, and lenders, they're going to be looking at your credit score to determine if they want to work with you. So start building your credit score as early as you possibly can, because realistically, it takes time to build your credit score. Just like going to the gym once or twice is not suddenly going to give you six-pack abs. It takes months or years of dedication at the gym in order to build that sort of physique. And likewise, it can take months or years to build your credit score up from scratch into a reasonable score that banks and financial institutions are going to want to work with. So if you haven't already done so, go out and apply for your first credit card. Don't spend a ton of money on this card. Don't rack up thousands of dollars in debt. This is not free money. You do have to pay it back. My suggestion is just put one tank of gas on your credit card each and every month, and then set up your bank to have automatic bill pay where it pays your credit card statement in full on or before the due date. That way that you never get charged any interest. So just by having one or two credit cards and having one or two purchases on these cards each month where your balance is paid in full every month, it is not only going to be completely free to do this, but in about 2 years, your credit score is going to be phenomenal and you're going to get approved for any type of loan that you want. So as your credit score increases, you're never going to have to worry about being rejected for a lease anymore. You're not going to have to worry about being rejected for a mortgage or a student loan or an auto loan. In fact, your credit score is sort of like the ultimate financial cheat code, because when you have a high credit score, banks and lenders are wanting to almost literally throw money at you at very, very low interest rates because they know that they're going to get paid back. So if you thought the Konami code was powerful when you were a kid, imagine how powerful this financial cheat code of a credit score is going to be when people are going to want to throw money at you at very low interest rates. At some point, you're probably going to want to buy a home of your own, and something as trivial as a 0.5% increase in your interest rate caused by a higher or lower credit score could theoretically save you multiple tens of thousands of dollars over the life of that loan. Millionaire habit number 3, you are in control of your life. Nobody else is going to do things for you. When you were young, your parents sort of told you what to do, they guided you, they helped you out. And then later on you went to school and you had teachers telling you what to do. But when you're in your 20s, now you're pretty much on your own, more or less, for better or worse. Maybe you still have friends or family, loved ones in the area that can kind of nudge you and point you in the right direction. But for the most part, it's just you. And that means that if you want something, you have to actively go and get it. Nobody's just going to hand you anything in life. I see way too many people sitting on the couch waiting for that perfect opportunity, just waiting. They spend their entire lives waiting for nothing. Instead, you need to realize that fortune favors the bold. If you want something, it's up to you to go and get it. If there's something in your life that you like or don't like, it's because of the actions that you have taken in order to lead you up to this point. So if you're not happy with your friends, then go out and find new friends. If you don't like the relationship that you're in, dump that person and go look for somebody else to go date. If you're not happy with your job or your career, find a new job. And if you're not qualified for a better job, then get qualified. Go back to school, get some training, do whatever it takes. Take an active role in your life. At one point in my life, I was not in a very good place. I had made some bad decisions, and I was frustrated and I was struggling. And the most empowering thing that I ever realized was that it was my fault. I was the one that made the decisions that got me to where I was. And nobody wants to admit that things in life are their fault. It's so much easier just to blame somebody else or something else for why things didn't happen the way that you wanted them to. So when I realized that it was my fault, that was a real low point in my life because I had nobody to blame but myself. But that was also the single most empowering moment of my life. Because while it's true that I realized that I had messed up and I had made bad decisions that led me to where I was, that also meant that I had the ability to make other decisions that would guide me in a different direction. And it was at that point that I realized that if I wanted something and if I wasn't happy with where I was, then I just had to go and get it. Take action and get what you want in life. Habit number 4, embrace failure. Now, that might sound a little bit weird, and no, I'm not saying that failing is okay, but failing is a part of life. In fact, it's a very integral and important part of life. You see, when I've been successful, I haven't really learned a lot of things from all of my success stories. It's when I've failed that I've learned a lot. I've learned what not to do. Thomas Edison, the creator and the inventor of the light bulb, worked and failed for years trying to perfect the light bulb. He is famously quoted as saying, "I have not failed. I have simply found 10,000 ways that don't work." It's okay to fail. Learn from your mistakes and move forward. That failure taught you something that takes you one step closer to your ultimate goal of success. But for a lot of people, the fear of failure is greater than their desire for success. A lot of people are too afraid to put themselves out there, to really try, to give it their all, 100% all in. Because then if they fail, they have nobody to blame but themselves. They get afraid and they don't take action. They just sit on the sidelines and do nothing. I know for guys, one of the biggest fears that a lot of gentlemen have is when they see a beautiful, attractive woman, to muster up the guts and the courage to go over there and talk to her and ask her out. They think, well, what if she says no? What if she doesn't like me? What if she has a boyfriend? What if? Well, what if she says yes? The bottom line is you're never going to know what you're capable of unless you try. Maybe you succeed and maybe you fail, but at least you've tried. I guarantee that you fail 100% of the times where you don't take any action. So go ahead and put yourself out there. The next time you see a 10 walking down the street, the next time you see a unicorn at the bar or a club or at the grocery store or something like that, go talk to her. Chat her up and ask her on a date. Maybe she says yes, maybe she says no. And even if she does say no, take comfort in the fact that you're awesome. You're going somewhere in this life. And if she doesn't want to be along for the ride, then that's her loss and not yours. And last but not least, millionaire habit number 5, automate your investing. Saving money and being frugal is cool, but it's not going to get you to your long-term goals. Everybody wants to be a millionaire. That's sort of just a magic number that everybody aspires to be a millionaire. But if you are saving money, then if you were able to save $1,000 a month, which is significantly higher than most people are able to save. But if you were able to save $1,000 a month, It would take you over 83 years to become a millionaire. Simply saving money is not going to get the job done. You have to invest that money. You have to have your money working for you. Because if your money isn't working for you, if you're working for your money, then you are going to be working forever. And the easiest way to invest is to automate everything. We live in a technology-driven world where our credit card bills can get automatically paid from our checking account. We don't have to manually log in and transfer money from our checking account and pay off our Visa card. Have all of that stuff automated where it's completely hands-off and passive, where you do it once and you never have to worry about it again. And the same goes for investing. Financial brokerage accounts like M1 Finance make this automated investing a breeze. You can set up investing schedules where on a certain day of the month or certain days of the month, it will automatically pull money out of your checking account and then automatically invest that into the stock market according to your predefined set of criteria. So you can set this up once and leave it alone and just continually let this pull money out and invest it for you month after month after month and have that long-term compound interest work for you. And this automatic investing is very crucial because when money just sits idly in your checking account and you see that money in your checking account, it's really tempting to go and spend that money. But if that money isn't there anymore, then obviously you're going to be less tempted to spend it. So if you get paid on the first of the month, maybe you set up M1 Finance to pull $50 or $100 or $1,000, whatever you can afford, have it pull that money out on the second of the month and then have that money automatically invested for you. Personally, I love M1 Finance. They make investing a breeze. It's the only company that I'm aware of that has this automatic transfer and investment feature where you can be truly hands-off and passive in your investing. If you're interested in signing up for M1 Finance, I do have links below. They'll actually give you a $10 credit as soon as you fund your account with at least $100. So it's a free 10 bucks as well. So that's going to wrap it up for us today, folks. My best 5 millionaire habits. The sooner that you truly understand and apply these traits to your personal life, the better off you will be in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and helps channels like this grow. And as always, I'll see you all again next week. Thanks.